vocabulary problem in English. And part of the vocabulary problem is we just don't have enough words to adequately describe emotions. And I think human design does this a lot. We have this like giant catch-all phrase that we call emotions, and we glom everything into it, and we call every type has an emotional theme. Well, it's really not an emotional theme. If we look at emotions and the emotional solar plexus, and then think about the language that we use around emotions, we're really talking about two kinds of feelings when we're usually talking about emotions. Usually we're talking about love or something that disrupts love, and that's not actually an emotion. That's universal to all of us. We all need love. We all love. We're all, love keeps us alive. We die in the beginning of our lives without love. We die oftentimes in the end of our lives without love. So there's love and all the stuff associated with love, which is grief, resentment, all those other things that are related to relationship stuff, right? Those are feelings, but those are really not feelings. Those are just love feelings, right? Or anti-love feelings, depending on your perspective. The second container that we talk about in human design are the emotional themes by type. Well, are those emotional themes by type? I don't think so, really. I think those are signifiers of misalignment of energy, right? So the anger of the manifestor type is really creative disruption. That's not an emotion, right? The frustration of the generator types is momentum. It's that feeling that, oh, something's coming. And usually we struggle with it because we're afraid that we're misreading the cues and we doubt ourselves. So when we get frustrated, instead of going, oh, I should sit with this and see what happens, we quit because we're like, oh, I'm failing, right? And so we don't actually let ourselves be with our frustration. The bitterness is a signal that you're either you need help with healing your karma of your self-worth, or you're depleted, so you're not available for an invitation. So of course you're going to repel people because you're not available right now. And the disappointment comes from not, on a personal level, not giving yourself enough time to make a good choice as a reflector, or the disappointment of going, wow, there's so much more available to the human story, and we're choosing this little teeny tiny option. Wow, how disappointing is that? So those aren't really emotions. And so maybe we need to come up with a different theme, a different name for them. So those are the type signifiers. I don't know, the type signals. I'll think of something creative. So those aren't emotions. If we look at emotions in the solar plexus, which is technically where they're located, there's actually not really anything that we would classify as emotions except for loss in the 1949, in the 59-6, and the 40-37. And those losses are actually tied to manifesting. So the loss of community and the loss of support is, well, let me rephrase that. Support and community expedite the manifestation process. In the 59-6, we see that the ability to do sustainable work, or to be supported by someone doing sustainable work, because there's support and being supported in that 59-6, the loss of that creates emotions, right? And it's a lack, it's based in lack. And of course, the 40-37, same thing, that loss of those agreements, that loss of those agreements also usually leads to a loss of connection to resources of some sort. So really, the solar plexus is not about emotions or feelings in the way that we talk about them. It's really about creativity and consciously using that energy to enhance what you're creating in your life. So I could do a whole workshop on just emotions, right? It's just, there's so much there to unpack. So for all intents and purposes, I'll say the emotional themes, we need to rename them. How's that?